Hey, what it do, what the business is?
It is another week in the books with the OndeckTV podcast. I am Spike Lou.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown if you're looking for me on social media.
Shake that rust off, Mxtra. Introduce yourself.
I thought I was going to say we have a guest.
I did too. I don't know what that was. That was terrible. Oh, run that back.
I just did that on purpose so you would sound like you were stumbling getting back in the saddle. We do have a guest. It is a special episode, the J. Cole review. We got J. Cole's #1 fan, Mr. Mxtra. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, fellas? It's the boy Mxtra, the Minister of Culture, is blessing you with his presence this evening. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
We're happy to have you. Happy to have you. On top of J. Cole this week, man, we talking about Joe Budden beefing with his buddies on the podcast tip. Meek Mill allegedly won't let Rick Ross in his section, and the Migos are back. But first, Nicki Minaj is back. She dropped the Beam Me Up Scotty album on y'all ass. First track out of the gate had Wayne and Drake on there, probably their best verses in a minute. My question to you, Animal Brown, was it worth the wait for Nicki Minaj's comeback?
Yeah, so this is obviously a throwback mixtape from back in the day. This is the one that arguably put her on. A lot of people call it a classic. I'm not that well versed with it, but I do know the impact that it had. Now, the two singles that she had on here, they were hot records, though. You know what I'm saying? They were two hot records. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, the standout joint was Seeing Green with Drake and Wayne. So the question, was it worth the wait? I will say yes with an asterisk, because that song, which is fire, is mainly fire because of what Jordan and Pippen did on that motherfucker, and she just played her Tony Kukoc role. And so she got overshadowed by the guest appearances, but it's her record, so she has to get the props for it. So I thought she was retired. A lot of people thought she was just going to live the mom life, live the wife life, and hang it up. She had done enough. Looks like she's back working on a project, and I will say with those two original joints on there, it is looking promising. But again, it's more about her getting washed by Drake and Wayne than it is her particular joint on there. But it was still worth the wait, though. It was buzzing over this weekend. I ain't gonna front act like when nobody listened to it. It was buzzing.
Mxtra, what you think?
This is my introduction to Nicki, so I love this Beam Me Up Scotty. I actually like two of the new records. Fractions is the shit, along with Seeing Green. I definitely am feeling Fractions is really good. I like the beat a lot, and she does her thing. Nicki is the best female rapper. I mean, it's hands down.
Ever?
I'm saying in this era, she's the best. I mean, she can be considered ever top 3, top 5 ever. But she just on another level. I mean, there's no ABCing with Nicki. There's no nursery rhyming. It's straight bars. And I'm here for it. Shout out to the barbs.
There's got to be one, right? To quote one of my favorite movies, my guy. Well, nobody want to hear this shit, right? Cut this shit off, man. Like, what? I feel like Nicki Minaj is at a different place in her career and should be displaying it. I don't need to hear old mixtapes, bro. I don't care if they classic. I don't care if they got new Drake verses. Nicki Minaj is a boss. Excuse my French here. She a boss bitch. She should be making boss bitch music now. Like, she should be the rap equivalent to Beyonce. Like, it should be a big deal when she drop. Like, the mountains should move. I don't need you recycling shit because you told me you retired a year ago, putting old songs out to test the water. She passed that. Like you said, I agree with you. She is the best female rapper of this generation. She needs to act like she's still taking shots at bitches and she still taking shots at female rappers and stuff. Like, come on. She's better than that. And I think that she should act better than that. And she should put out material equivalent to where she is in her life and her career.
I mean, I don't think she's doing any different than what any male rapper would do. I mean, even if you listen to Cole, talking about people, like, that's just what people do. It's a braggadocious rap. And you mentioned Boss Bitch. She actually, one of the new songs is called Boss Ass Bitch. So, I mean,
that's an interesting comparison that you say to Cole. What I would say to that is she should have a different approach from him because Cole has competition. Like, he may be arguably the best rapper, but he ain't hands down like the #1 person in his lane. Nicki is hands down the number one person in her lane, and she should approach stuff like that, not recycle mixtapes.
Well, I mean, she did add like 6 records.
Yeah, she added a bunch of shit, and you're saying she's not moving the needle. She had about 700,000 people on her live when she went live on Friday night.
No.
So clearly, and I mean clearly, people are still checking for it, and they were hype that this mixtape was finally getting released to streaming sites. It's just no different with Cole. Cole just dropped a fucking 2-piece 8 months ago, bro. 2 records, nigga. Here you go. Random shit. This is the same thing. It's just attached to a mixtape that people were excited to hear about. You know what I'm saying? If Cole would have did that with the warm up, if he would have took those 2 records, added them to warm up, and said, "Hey, I'm dropping the warm up on streaming sites with 2 new records," niggas would have, fans would have been hype. Like,
and another
shit,
thing. I'm sorry before you go, Lou. Another thing is this mixtape actually is getting people paid. The first one, it was freebie. This one is getting paid. If you go to Big Fendi's page, he'll tell you that she listed him as executive producer on this album, on this release. So he's going to see checks from this, as he should.
That's cool.
I mean, it's a smart business move to put 7 Lucy's on it, I mean, to go with it and re-release it. I mean, she got something coming down the pipeline. Why not get the fans' appetite a little wet with this one?
Yeah.
I just think she's at a different place in her career. I moving the meter. I agree with you. I see y'all as far as that point. Absolutely. She still moves in the meter. She's still Nicki Minaj. I just think that there's a space out there in female rap that's not being covered, and she's the only one that could cover it. I'm like being a GOAT status 10 years in, arguably the best female rapper bar for bar ever, like the success that she's had. She shouldn't be rapping about shit that Cardi B raps about. She shouldn't be rapping about shit that the City Girls rap about. Like she's in her own lane, and she doesn't display that by putting out old music to me.
Hey, I will say this real quick. One thing I'm surprised that nobody really has done in terms of the female rap lane. Why don't they start their own label? Have you peeped that? That doesn't happen, bro. Like, why wouldn't she have a label with 3 or 4 people signed up under her?
I mean, is that surprising to you? Think about what women have to go through just to be able to pick up the mic. Bro. I mean, a woman coming out. I mean, they should in 2021, but
I'm saying,
think about all the hurdles and stuff that women got to go through to get a label.
I've never heard of anyone even aspire to it, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you don't know. I'm just behind the scenes. I'm sure they have. I mean,
it's never been publicly talked about.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's never publicly talked about, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've never even thought about that. Like, I guess that goes to your point as well. Like, I've never even considered that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought about that over the weekend. Like, damn, I wonder why ain't nobody doing that shit.
Nicki would be the perfect person.
Like, yeah, Nicki, I think so.
As far as I can show you how to be successful as a female rapper, boom, here go the blueprint.
Sign anybody.
Facts.
Next up, man, the aforementioned Joe Budden podcast. There's been a shit show going on. There's been a shit show playing out live in front of us. We know Joe Budden used to rap, man. This is a stretch. We know he used to rap, so we're counting this as hip hop. He actually fired his co-hosts Mal and Rory on air. Very interesting. Mal and Rory did actually respond with their own video, and Joe Budden has since responded to that. My question to you guys, starting with Lou, because I'm going to fall asleep while y'all talk about this shit, is whose side are you on?
It's amazing that you're not in tune with this. Is a part of the culture, not just because he used to be a rapper. That's probably the biggest cultural hip hop podcast. Where I fall on this though, I listened to Joe when he put the episode out that didn't have Rory and Mal on there. I listened to Rory and Mal. I have not listened to Joe's response to that. And I think the conversation is being had that they leave him about money and friendship. Those conversations aren't the correct approach to it. To me, it's about value. And the value that Joe Budden brings to that podcast, I mean, it's named after him. We see the value that he brings. And I'm not here to say that Mal or Rory aren't just as valuable, but every company has a face. Every company has a person that's out there doing meetings. It's out there being, for lack of a better word, the mascot of the company. And that adds value to you. So if I'm listening to Rory and Mal say, oh, we had a split and we all supposed to get this, that, and the third, that's fine. And we can split the stuff that you and I bring in together. But if I'm Joe Budden and I know some deals are off the strength of my name, then I would have the same stance that he has. Like, no, I'm not opening my books to you guys. I'm not letting you see how much money that I make for the stuff that I feel like that I brought to this podcast. Because one, I pay you well. They were talking about the numbers in the account that they had. They said the top 5% in podcasters pay just from the payouts that they had. And two, you can go back to friendship at this point. If I'm in a business with one of my quote unquote friends, from what they're saying and how it happened, I'm not requesting accounting beyond the fact of trusting you to do what you say you're going to do. Now, I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen at some point where I would get people involved. I felt like I was getting slighted. But if I'm having a conversation with you and you're telling me, my nigga, just ride it out, then I should trust that before I go do anything else. And that may be being naive like they were being and why they feel like they got slighted. But if I had to answer the question on whose side I was on in short, it would be Joe Budden.
Clearly.
Mxtra, what do you think? I've never heard of these guys before in my life. What do you think?
This is ridiculous. And I hate to keep quoting Cole, but it's so relevant right now. I never fall out with the bros. You don't do this publicly, bro. This is some hoe shit that Joe Budden did.
On
some
who's
real
in?
hoe shit. Huh?
On who's in?
On Joe's end.
Oh,
like,
wow.
even if you have business problems or issues, you don't do this publicly. You don't go publicly dissing Rory, calling him out his name, doing all this stuff, telling him stories about Maul. Like, this shit was lame as fuck. Like, I would never do anything like that. I thought Joe was from the same cloth. He really disappointed me in this outburst, is what I'll call it, of a podcast that he came out with, dissing, throwing them completely under the bus while these three people in the background all saying being yes man and sucking his dick on why you talking about it. Like, man, come on, man. You gotta stop all that, man. You cannot do this. And it's really disheartening because him and Maul were really, really good friends. And
allegedly,
for Joe to take it there, like, regardless of what business issues you guys have, you can handle it off air. For him to just, he was like a reality, well, he is a reality, I guess. So I guess it fits. Because he was just like it was like I was watching Housewives. He should be ashamed of himself.
Are you talking about initially, or are you talking about his response to them?
I'm talking about the show that was posted, unposted, and then put the Patreon.
Ah, okay. So the official response.
When he was just airing out dirty laundry, like a woman on a reunion show.
Yeah,
he should be ashamed of himself.
Listen, I listened to Joe's. So I woke up dumb early for some reason on Wednesday for no reason. You know, the one of them days you just wake up for no reason, early as fuck.
On a Wednesday?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, for no reason.
People
I see. I'm on Twitter.
Oh, work, my nigga.
I'm on Twitter and I see people talking about the episode being posted and then taken down. And then I saw somebody post, somebody pulled it, how the internet do it, don't take much. They streamed it and had it. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm bored, let me listen to it. I listened to about an hour and a half before I had to get out of there. And that was the first time I had listened to them for a long time. To me, this is very, very simple in terms of whose side are you on and what their beefs are. It's clear to me, Rory and Maul thought they were partners with Joe, and Joe thought Rory and Maul were employees. And so he looked at them from the perspective of an employee. Take the friend shit out. He looked at them from a perspective of an employee. If you're an employee and you work somewhere and you go into the boardroom and ask to look at books, they're going to ask, who are you? They're gonna be, we don't know who you are, fam. If you're a partner and you go into the boardroom and ask to look at books, they're going to go, here you go. They're right here. Thank you. You have access to all of this. That's the access that partners have. Now, people don't like Joe because of how he carries himself and how he you could say he's an asshole to some, even though in some of that stuff he may have been telling the truth or speaking facts, but the delivery may be off. But I really think it's really that simple. They're looking at it from two different perspectives. They were under the impression that they were partners. Joe was under the impression that it was clear that they were employees. That's where the discrepancies came about. To me, not following this shit at all, but just going off what y'all talk about in the group chat relentlessly. I usually tune that shit out, but catching what I done caught, that's what it seems like to me. It seems pretty clear, to be honest.
Well, you're right. On the surface, it does. But when Rory and Maul dropped theirs, the agreement with them was that they were profit-sharing partners. So the profit that the podcast brought in, they're supposed to split three ways.
According to who?
According to them in the contract. And Joe. Joe said that.
Because he didn't say that on
that's what they say in the contract say. Huh?
Okay, yeah, he didn't say that on the initial.
Yeah, he didn't say that, but that's what they're saying in the contract says. I think my opinion on what the difference is different from yours in the sense of he may have looked at them as partners to a sense, but you have to add in, and I don't think that they were accounting for everything that he does because it's in his name. Like, you can't come to me if I'm putting, just like the instances that are happening to him now. Like, that's shit that you got to face at the head of a network with the female that said the things about his podcast. Like, he's bearing more responsibility than they are. So we don't deserve equal partnership for everything. For some things, of course, because that's our agreement. But when we're talking about the bigger picture, which I think that Joe thought that they were with him on the bigger picture when he went on those Spotify rants and those rants that he went on in his podcast, it's clear now that he was talking to them too. Because if you're with me for the bigger picture, you're going to take this nice lump sum of money that I'm giving you, and you're also going to ride it till the wheels fall off to where I'm taking it. Because Mal and Rory both said, hey, I'm not into podcasting like that. Like, Rory said, I do this because y'all are my friends. I wouldn't try to start a network. Mal said, I come up and I show up to do this, to kick the shit with y'all because y'all are my friends. Joe said, I do this because this is my life's work. That's different value that we add. And you can't split something equally with a nigga who says, I'm just showing up to do this because, hey, y'all are my friends, as opposed to a nigga saying, hey, this is my life's work. Everything that I have, I put into this. Yeah, I'm going to take more home and do more stuff to get more money than you, and you can't see my books. No.
Again, that may,
the way he handled it was poor. I do agree with you.
And before I start, we're going to say, Spike Lee said female, he meant woman. We don't say
woman.
Female,
yeah,
anymore.
Excuse me.
But anyway, my point is that we don't know all of it. That may be correct. The reason why I went Mal and Rory is how Joe handled it.
Yeah, that's bad. But Joe been doing that shit his whole career.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, you sign up for that when you friends or business partners with that nigga. You know at some point that's gonna happen.
Right.
But I don't think that takes away from his point though. Like, if y'all my niggas, like, y'all are riding with me, and I disagree with you. Like, I think Mal was most fucked up in this. You've been knowing me before, Rory, and he come in and he got a complaint, and you riding with him over me? Man, get out of here, bro. That ain't real.
But think about that. Think about what you just said. Mm-hmm. He's riding with Rory before Joe, and he's known Joe much longer than their friends. So something is not adding up.
That's fair.
That's all I'm saying.
And you look at Joe Carfax, man. This ain't. This is not
the thing about it. That's what makes it hard for me to argue for his side. The Carfax is ugly,
yeah, that's
especially with the new allegations, man. But that's interesting how that's going to play out.
Is it?
Next, next we got y'all man's Meek Mill. Meek Mill was at Live over the past weekend, man, and Big Rose, the boss, tried to come in and grab a couple bottles in the section and parlay, and Meek denied him. My question to you guys, Twin, we'll start with you this time. Is this a big deal that Rose couldn't get in Meek Mill's section at Live?
Man, I'm the same sentiment. All this stuff playing out publicly is disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, these grown men acting like, man, it's disgusting. So, I mean, I don't know if it's much of a big deal as it is just disgusting, as I just said. But, you know, I mean, people get salty when they're in situations and they feel like they're reached a certain level in their career. We've seen it happen countless times with artists and CEOs or presidents. They feel like they've outgrown their contract. No, that's fine, but you signed this contract. So whatever you want to do, we can talk about a restructure, but I'm going to be paid. I can't be mad at Ross. Ross is a businessman. Meek can't wear his heart on his sleeve like that. This man, Ross held Meek down for the longest. You know what I'm saying? You can't. So if this is true, again, this is alleged. This is a rumor. We don't know if it's true. But if it is true, I'm more disappointed in Meek than anything.
Yeah, definitely alleged. But let's hypothetically say that this is facts. It's a little deal until one of these two come out publicly and speak on it. Then that's when it would become a big deal. Ross just dropped an album not too long ago, Port of Miami 2, and Meek Mill was on it. Wale was on it, for that matter. So, I mean, like, whatever they all got going on, we don't know this in public. We only know this because somebody at the club leaked it to academics, a source of a source of a source. So there's no video, we hadn't really heard nothing of this leading up to this point, even though you can kind of tell it really hasn't been MMG. Like, it was MMG a couple years ago. Like, it hasn't been that. Like, they not just waving the flag like that. Meek seems to be carving out his own path. Kind of, you see him more with Jay and more with, you know, the 76ers owner kind of in that lane nowadays than he is kicking it with Ross on his ranch. But until either one of them comes out and says, man, fuck the other, or I'm out, or free me, or whatever, then, man, this is smoke. This is a little bit of smoke, but
yeah, exactly.
Smoke nonetheless.
I agree. Good point.
Yep, I'm going to take the same stance. This is no big deal at all, but I'll take a different reasoning from it. I mean, if I'm Rick Ross, if this did happen, I'm never speaking about it publicly. Not because I'm embarrassed, because I don't want Meek to look like a bitch. Because I'm still making money off of Meek Mill, hence the reason he won't let me in his section, because he's still in my contract, and I'd be an idiot to let him out of it. Ross is a great businessman. Like we were talking about Carfax earlier. He's a great businessman. So him saying Meek Mill coming to him hat in hand and being like, look, bro, I've outgrown this contract. I want to go over here to Roc Nation and do my own thing. That's cool. You got to take care of me though, bro. Or you just going to stay in this contract. That's the business. We've talked about this time and time again with artists and Puff Daddy and Baby and the different things of that nature. And I don't feel sorry for Meek Mill at all. And I don't think this is a big deal because it'll never make it public. Meek can never come out and say, hey, I did this, because he wants to stay in good graces. And Ross ain't going to come out and say anything because, hey, I got you on the contract. I want you to be successful. I don't want you to look bad out here. So I don't think this is a big deal at all. I don't know if we see any more of MMG. In the sense of it musically, I think it's going to be a big deal there. I don't think you're going to see a lot more of Rick Ross and Meek Mill and Wale and anything of that nature with them building together. If I were Ross, I'd start looking at the young talent. I try a whole new MMG, brand new rollout, come with 3 new young hot niggas again and try to do it for another 10 years. I'd fuck Wale and Meek Mill.
And that's another.
Well, I ain't talking about contractually. Y'all still got to pay me. Y'all gonna do y'all own thing, but as far as y'all being MMG, it's cool. Y'all can go ahead. I just want my cut like Rocco.
I would be interested to see how much longer he had. He's dropped 4 albums under MMG, and he's dropped 3 he's been a part of 3 compilations and 1 commercial mixtape with DC4. So I don't know what this nigga contract looks like. I don't know how many albums he signed up for, but I'd be very interested. You can tell though he kind of wants to do his own thing. He's been around too many bosses, bro. Like it's only a matter of time. Huh?
You think he deserves to be released, stating that what you just said with all the work that he's put in for Ross? Like he made Ross a lot of money.
Yeah, for sure. No. But no, whatever he signed up for, he needs to go ahead and ride that on out. I'm just curious to know what that is because he's been a part of several projects. I just don't know what that is. But you can tell that he's getting that bug where he wants to start pushing that Dream Chasers. You can tell. And that's fine. And that's another reason why I'm like, damn, why Nicki don't have a label? How long has Meek Mill had Dream Chasers, bro? Like, come on. For as long as we've known him to be on, like, you telling me Nicki can't get a label? But anyway.
He had like Dream Chasers since he was signed to Grand Hustle.
That's what I'm saying. He's been screaming that for forever. So it's like, really? She can't get a label? That's kind of crazy. But anywho, I am interested to see, number one, how much longer is left. And 2, if they can do something with this. Because Self-Made, like, they ain't done no more compilations. Part 4 was supposed to drop. That shit ain't coming. Like, Ross is supposed to drop an album late last year. He didn't do it. So MMG is looking like it's falling apart, but when will it be made official, though? That we don't know. But it don't look good, though.
Ross supposed to have another album after the Port of Miami, too.
Richer than I've ever been. He made the album announcement on Hot 97.
Yeah, he was just talking.
Full effect.
He was doing that Rick Ross thing that he does.
He was one of the biggest cappers ever to touch a mic.
Facts. He do it so well though.
Yeah, he does.
He's so good at it.
Hey, real quick, man, before we get to this J. Cole album review, let's talk Migos. They returned with a brand new single. It was called Straightening. They announced Culture 3, the long-awaited Culture 3, dropping June 11th. I'm going to give this one to the Minister of Culture. Are Migos still number 1 group?
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't see
sure?
bigger than Migos.
Sound too convinced.
I mean, I don't see another group. I think they're number 1 by default. That's what I'm saying. But I like this. You know, I like this song a lot. A lot of people outside of Atlanta don't know about what straightening means. But you know, if you're from the city, you know what it is.
I think that's a black
this
thing,
is a high
not an Atlanta thing.
Yeah, elaborate. What does that mean, sir?
This is a universal black people thing, not just Atlanta, nigga. They were saying straight in Tennessee too.
In Tennessee?
Yes, nigga. They said straight.
What does it mean in
Memphis and in Nashville?
I've never heard
shit straight, bro. You get straightened out. That's what it means, nigga.
Well, I mean, kind of. Yeah, it's kind of similar, but not. Yeah, we say it a little different. Like if the nigga get mad, he gonna be like, ain't gonna be no straightening. Ain't gonna be no straightening.
That's some Atlanta shit right there when you phrase
that is some Atlanta shit. Tennessee more like, nigga, I'm finna go straighten this shit right now.
No,
straightening finna happen, nigga.
Lou, are they still the number 1 group, man?
Man, that's a tough question because they're still going to move the meter as we were talking about earlier with Nicki. But I don't know how long that's going to last. Like, I didn't even listen to this single. Y'all put the shit in the group chat for them dropping a new album. I ain't even checking for it.
Shit is hard. The single's hard.
Yeah. It may be. I'm just saying it's not everywhere like it used to be when they did drop. So if they are the number one group, they're still on a decline, even being the number one group.
That wasn't the question they asked you, sir.
I tell you what, I seen another group that dropped, and it wasn't no mystery finding theirs, and that was at Twerkulator. City Girls dropped. It's everywhere. I ain't seen it.
But it's not out yet.
I seen the ads for it. I ain't seen Migos ads.
Yeah. So are you saying the City Girls is a bigger group than Migos?
I think so.
Oh my God!
I think so. I think the City Girls are the biggest group in hip hop right now.
Let me go ahead and straighten this discussion out.
A hot take from.
They're still the number one group. The problem is, or not the problem, but what they're going to run to a challenge is the whole rap game has ran with their style. Like the whole rap game. And so, they're still the number one group, but all these solo acts that have come out since they've taken a break sound very similar to them. So now they have competition. It's very similar to when Future used to take breaks and then everybody started kind of adopting to his style. And so he had to come back out and kind of still establish himself as the nigga that started this shit. And that's what the Migos gonna have to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think this straightening might be talking about the rap game. Slick, because niggas done kind of ran with their whole swag. And we just talked about this not too long ago with David Banner giving them props, saying more people need to show them respect about how they kind of have straightened or kind of given the layout of how like culture is right now in terms of hip hop. People rap with that triplet flow now, bro. And that's because of them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to give them props for that. I'm interested to see what the album sound like. I did like the single too. I thought that shit was hard too.
Yeah. Shout out to Takeoff.
What except for Takeoff?
I said shout out to Takeoff.
Oh, I'm about to say, damn. Yeah, nah, I fuck with it though. It's banging. And I'm ready for this album too. I want to know if they can have hit making capability. You know what I'm saying? Do they have another, insert hit in them? That I don't know because it's been a minute since they've had a big. Well, no, they had the song with Mustard though. That was a hit.
Are the Migos?
I forgot about that. They might still got it.
You said so many people have adapted their style. Are they still the best people to do it, or is there somebody better at their style than them now?
You can't adapt somebody. I mean,
everybody does it, bro. Even Cole raps with that flow on this album, bro. Are they better than Cole with the no? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, he did it more.
They'll never be better than him. I'm speaking of the hit making capability, like you said. Like, are there people that use that style to just make better songs now?
We're about to find out.
Migos were never about to bar a nigga up. So I think my question to y'all would be, if they are, how would they maintain the number one group since everybody is doing it? Because now niggas doing it with bars. Now niggas doing it that can make hits. Bitches is doing, ladies are doing it. It's all around the board as far as it being done.
But I mean, you just have to put out quality music. That's all they have to do. Is stay in it.
Can they do that?
Yeah, this is a good single. You clearly have not heard it.
The song is tough.
The song is a really good song.
Yeah, I like
if they keep dropping heat like this, they should be fine.
But is it bad and bougie though? It's not bad and bougie.
There'll never be another bad and bougie.
Maybe so. Well, they might have
made another Illmatic and Nas still shine, so we'll be fine.
Fair enough, man. Hey, listen, we have a album review to speak of. A-listers are starting to show their head, man. It's J. Cole. He popped out, dropped his 6th studio album entitled Off Season. He announced it last week. Had a very interesting rollout. He also made his professional basketball debut. I guess we'll probably touch on that later too. We know how we get down, man. Expectations, initial thoughts, highlights, lowlights, and then we'll give a rating. I'll start with the number one J. Cole fanboy of all time. What was your expectations going into this album, Mxtra?
Nobody's fanboy. I'm a grown ass man. But to answer your question, I had high expectations. The last album dropped in 2018. When Cole gets that kind of time to cook, he usually comes out with something that's fantastic for the listeners. So I mean, high expectations. Just for Cole, for Kendrick, and Drake, always gonna be high expectations, no matter what.
That's true. They set that bar, Lou. Were you felt the same way?
Facts, top shelf. Like when I see J. Cole put a date on it, start dropping documentaries and singles and shit, I'm ready. Like, I'm expecting fine wine, the best champagne. That's the nicest cigars. That's what that is when you indulge and when he get ready to drop. So that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, and
quality luxury rap.
Yeah, and of course we all fuck with J. Cole, so you know what I mean, to certain degrees, and obviously I was anticipating it. I like the 2-piece that he dropped last year. I like the Snow on the Bluff that he dropped last year. The freestyle leading up to this shit was fire. You know what I'm saying? Like I liked the documentary. We talked about that last week, and I liked the interlude single that he dropped last Friday. I thought that shit was tough. So I was definitely looking forward to it. I do want to talk about the rollout though. I'll start with Lou. Was him playing basketball for the professional team in Africa? Was that a big flex rollout, or was that like some mid?
That was some super mid, Pat. Man, like, and I just say that in the sense that J. Cole is a talented brother, man. And I looked at that documentary. I listened to him on Kevin Durant's podcast. And I think as great as I think that this album is and J. Cole is an artist, like that took away from it a little bit from me, man. I promise you, bro, I don't care about your hoop dreams, my nigga. I don't care that you walked on if you didn't to St. John's. Like, that does not matter to me as a J. Cole fan. I get that his career has been centered around that with different projects and he's heavily influenced by basketball. But I just think at this stage, at 36 years old, maybe that effort could have been put towards a better rollout, because that the basketball shit didn't do anything for me. Especially playing in what was he, Africa? Nigeria?
It was in Africa.
Rwanda.
Yeah.
Rwanda?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that a big flex or a big flop? Let's keep it real on them Mxtra.
It's a genius marketing. That's what it is. It's the rollout. It's the rollout king. You gotta understand, you playing, as I discussed in my review that's everywhere now, as you're playing, he chased his basketball dreams. He loved basketball. He's always loved basketball. So to have an album called The Fall Off with the basketball goal in the back, and you're still chasing that original dream later, even though you're one of the top rappers in the world, I mean, it was genius. You know what I'm saying? You can't really.
That's like a nigga that works at Microsoft or Apple coming to tell you about his mixtape. I always wanted to rap, even though I make $450,000 a year doing my IT job in the daytime. I've always had this dream of putting my mixtape out, bro. I don't care.
You don't care. Think about that. If Cole if Cole feels like if I touch one kid who I tell don't give up on their dreams, I've done my job, and that's exactly what it is. You're never too old. You're never too old.
His dream is to be a rapper. It's not to be a basketball player.
It was basketball player was first though.
Then on the Kevin Durant podcast, he went to New York to rap though.
Yeah, I know.
But he turned down he made it to the last 10 niggas to walk on for St. John's and turn that shit down to rap.
Again, we understand that, but I'm telling you, the first love was basketball.
And it's been a part of his story the entire time. So first of all, the rollout was super dope. Let's be very clear.
Keep it a buck.
It was the first game of the Africa League for anybody who gives a shit about those, that little tidbit. But I thought it was dope. I think he had 3 points, 3 assists. He looked like a civilian. For anybody who thinks they're good enough to hoop in any type of pro league, that is how you would look. You would look
Shout
washed.
out to FSP podcast, man. Shout out to those FSP guys.
Shout out to FSP with probably the worst take of all time. Thinking that they could average 2 points in the NBA.
Hey, Hov and Locke said they could play 10 minutes in the NBA.
No, they couldn't.
And average 10 points.
No,
they could get 10 minutes a night and average 2 points.
2 points for a full season, which was the biggest cap I've ever heard in my life. Now,
biggest cap.
Jay has since walked that back, so I'll let him live. Locke, I don't know, bro. That's tough. But J. Cole looked like a civilian playing amongst amateur players, like an amateur playing against amateur pros. That's how he would look. But that was cool. I watched the game and everything. It was cool to see him, bro. Like there's a young J. Cole fan that didn't see P do this, and nobody has done this since. So you have to look at it from that perspective. He's always been about $1 and a dream and dreaming big, and obviously Dreamville. And so it plays into the story, man. And it's gonna be dope when it's all said and done that he can add that to the resume.
Exactly, it's the macro of it all.
That's a fact. Now, when you first listen to the album and you hit play, initial thoughts, I'll start with you, Lou. What did you think when you first listened?
Super surprised. I had to look down and make sure that I was on the right album. When I hear Cameron first on the J. Cole fucking song, and we know as far as that Come Home With Me and how that registered and hit in Nashville where we were at that time. So me hearing that is the first thing on the Cole album was super surprising, but I was here for it. It got me hyped.
Yeah. What I'm saying, what about the whole project though?
I thought we were talking about just the initial, but that was where I was initially when I first heard that. Then I'm going all the way through, even without taking in all the bars and sitting down with it, just going through that first listen, you can tell how much better he is than most rappers. And the difference between a nigga like him that's A-list and a nigga that drop every 3 months or something similar to what he said, your 30-track CD and you selling 10,000. Like, you could tell the difference between a nigga like Cole listening to that first round run through of all the songs and then all the other niggas that drop every other week. So that was the biggest thing for me. And then the people that were on the album and how well placed it was. You could tell that how it was tracked out and what he was doing. He was paying specific attention to making this a mood, making this a thing that you wouldn't forget and you would register as a classic in your head, just based off of how the tracks were laid out and how they played into each other. You could tell that he took his time with that. So I was a fan first listen.
Mxtra, you stayed up till midnight Thursday night so you can listen, be the first person in the world to listen to this. Did it live up to the expectations first listen?
That's actual and factual. I definitely did. The initial thought for me was, similar. I was definitely surprised when I heard Cam. I got excited when I heard Cam. I was like, oh, he taking it there. It's like, the hunger, dude. It was like, you can tell he just ready to bar you the fuck up, pause. Like, he was just ready to take it there. And I just heard it from the first couple of bars. I'm like, he said, I try to stay from around, but if beef come up, put an M on your head, you Luigi brother now? Like, I said, what? I had to pause it. I paused it after that. I said, this man, somebody done made this nigga mad, boy. He's spitting like somebody told him he couldn't spit.
He said that on the Kevin Durant podcast. That's how he tried to approach it. He said he felt like the shit that he was working on and he was reading it to himself, he just felt like that he said he felt like he just wasn't doing it like he used to do it, and he made special and paid special attention to doing it like that.
Yeah, and following on my initial thoughts, it also lets me know why, like you said, you can tell he's so much better than a lot of people. But for me, I don't necessarily say he's better than certain A-listers, but he does something, and me and Jay talked about it, something that Drake can't do, and that is the flow is all, he has multiple flows. Like, Drake is good in one pocket for most part. He is. But it's great. He's a great rapper. Just saying, but he doesn't have, you don't get the cadence to stop up and down fast. Like, you don't get that from Drake often. And you don't.
First off,
I'm not trying to hate.
Let him put his Drake cape on.
And we're not going to turn this into a Drake versus J. Cole.
I'm just saying, I just said, because we know he's better than the people that Lou talking about. But I'm saying A-listers. What I'm saying is, even with A-listers, it's certain things Cole can do that some people appreciate more. That's all.
Before you go, Chris, I do want to say to that point, as I was listening to this for like the third time, I did think that my opinion has switched from the scariest rapper. It's no longer Kendrick. I can't still give him that credit if he ain't been out in 4 years and J. Cole is doing shit like this. Yeah. Like, I think J. Cole is the most like feared rapper right now. Like, don't nobody want that smoke with him, I feel like. No.
First of all, initial thoughts. Number one, I was just as thrown off as everybody with the Cam. Not thrown off, but you know what I'm saying, pleasantly surprised with the Cam intro. And I actually like when albums first come out and they don't have the features listed. I actually like that shit because you don't really know what to expect. It's kind of dope. It plays out more like a movie that way until Twitter and niggas in the group chat spoil it. But other than that, it's still pretty dope to be surprised by the features and shit. So I didn't see the Cam joint coming. I was just so relieved that Cam didn't rap. Oh my God. Y'all do not know.
Don't do Cam like that.
In 2021?
He got a great 8 for J. Cole. He got strong 8 bars for him.
You got to stop it with your disrespect to the legend.
No, sir.
He got a strong 8 for him.
Nah, no, he don't. He got strong ad-libs, which is what he did, which I appreciate, and that was cool. But no, my first listen, I went through the album and the first go-round, and the thought of skipping anything never crossed my mind at all. Like, as a matter of fact, I thought it ended a little too soon.
Yes.
I was almost like, damn, it's already over. I was kind of like let down and really ready to run it right back. So, like, nothing initially, bro. Literally, not one time did I go, nah, okay, this one kind of. No, it wasn't none of that, dude. I was just like, damn, all right. Like he's spitting. It's a lot to digest, though. It's a lot. Like I'm talking about his bars, his cadences. It's subject matters, it's themes, it's features, it's like it's 3 and 4 niggas producing on one song. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot. There's bridges, there's harmonies, there's melodies. Like it's a lot to go along with it, but it doesn't seem packed in or claustrophobic. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it still felt cohesive. So I really liked it that first listen. And honestly, the more I listen to it, the more it's growing on me, which is what good art usually does. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's a hard thing to do. It's hard to really like something out the gate and then it still grow on you. Usually out the gate, you kind of be like, okay, it's something there. And you need to run it back to be like, okay, I get it now. I got it out the gate, but it just grows on you even more because there's so many layers to it.
Right. To your point of where you said, and even though I criticized the rollout, I think that helps with listening to the album the first way through. For me, that's what makes me not want to skip a song, because you've seen this shit play out on YouTube. You heard him talking about it. I listened to the interviews because J. Cole's A-list. So if he's talking, you're going to listen. Yep. That helps. I remember back, that's what made 2014 Forest Hills Drive hit so hard for me. Like that whole rollout to it and knowing the story and all the pictures of him sitting on his old house and he went and bought the house. That makes you want to listen to every song because you feel like that he's telling you a story about the rest of, like, you feel like you're getting the rest of the documentary. Same thing with this. Even though I criticized the rollout, like I said, I felt like that 14-minute documentary was the intro for this album, and the album was the complete story of it. And that shit just hit.
Yeah. I would just like to be around the thought process of how we're going to set this album up, which song is what. We're going to get Cameron, and we're going to get fucking Little John on the, man, when I heard Little John, bro, I had to pull over. It's like this. I said, this
throw a rod in the car.
What, man? Yeah. Was like, it was 05 all over again, bro.
Nah, it was that was definitely dope, man. And I seen the Wizards warming up to that. I don't know if y'all saw that. The DJ played it at the Wizards game the other day, and they were warming up to. They were high. Niggas was high on the court and shit. It was funny as fuck. Let's get to what worked though, man. What was specific highlights, Lou? What stood out on the album to you, whether it be songs or whether it be anything specifically?
The sampling that he used and was fantastic for me. I love that old school type sound sampling on the songs that he chose. That being specific, the 95 South was amazing. Like we said with Cam earlier, I like More Raves feature, him and 21 Savage. 21 Savage always shows up when he's with J. Cole. Hunger on the Hillside with Boz. Sleeper. That shit was hard.
That's a sleeper.
I love that song.
That's a great way to end the album.
Man, great way to end the album. And those are the ones that stuck out the most for me. Those are my favorite songs off the album, off rip. What did you have?
Twin, what you fuck with on there heavy?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off that, just to hear Boss do these harmonies and bridges and hooks was unexpected.
He was 3 for 3 on here.
He did a great fucking job. Yeah. 100 Mil is probably one of my top 2-3 songs, and he killed that too. Like that, they did a great job. It's just as far as all the highlights go, just harking back to what I said about just the thought process of putting such a quality project together. And for me, this is a little different from most of Cole's albums. Although it had a theme, it wasn't the cinematic theme that most Cole albums have. This is more of a mixtape type of feel to it. When I listen to it, it's more of a rugged, like we in the basement trying to create magic kind of feel. And it's for him, and he alluded to this when he had the LeBron line. For him to be 6 albums in, 36 years old, and to create a project like this, like he's hungry, fresh out the gate. It was great. Like I said, I didn't have any skips. You know, I love the features. I love the surprise features. I love what Lil Baby did. I love what 21 Savage did. It's like he put the pieces of the puzzle perfectly together. Like if you would have said, if I told you last week Cameron opened up the album, you'd have been like, what?
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. Like everything. Shout out to the whole team. Like this really worked. It wasn't something that was nothing felt forced.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I'll take it a step further. What I liked is, first of all, I love that it's titled Off Season because it makes so much sense. Because this right here sounds like he's been in the gym putting up 1,000 jumpers. Like this is what it would sound like if your favorite rapper put in the time and effort to go with his or her skill set. This is what it would sound like. You know what I'm saying? Like he sounds polished and hungry, like he's trying to make a team. You know what I'm saying? So I fuck with him on here. The bars were stupid. He took the bars to a whole nother level on here. I thought his cadences were like, it's a very well written album. You know what I'm saying? Like
that cadence stuff. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. He took it to another level in regards to that too, because there's so many different pockets, and it seemed like there was a. You know how, like, when niggas used to do albums back then, they have one producer that was just kind of orchestrating. You know how Dre will do it, or even Swisky even has that possibility, or Pharrell. Like, it just felt like somebody was orchestrating this because it's super cohesive. And it looks like it was really cold, even though he's got a lot of different producers, Timbaland, Boy Wonder, T-Minus. But it's like either him or his team, or like with Drake with a 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who's Cole's 40, so to speak, but they put together a hell of an album. If I had to go with joints on here, I thought Let Go My Hand was fire, like dumb fire. And is that Puff at the end talking?
Yes, that's Puff.
That was hard. That was a nice callback. Obviously, he referenced the fight that they got into that a lot of people have forgotten about, because there was a rumor about that a long time ago. But they squashed it shortly after that anyway. Yeah. And so it was cool to hear him on there, but that shit was fire. My Life, I thought Maury stole the show on there.
Oh my God, it's a perfect. Perfect.
And this is gonna sound weird, but I just found a new appreciation for the Climb Back. He dropped that, last year on the 2-piece, and I thought it was cool. It fits so well on here, like just re-listening to it, it just kind of rekindled that for me. Yeah. I thought that shit still worked on here, even though it's quote unquote old.
Yeah, right after the interlude was the perfect place for
you. Almost feel like you hadn't heard that shit.
Yeah,
you let that more ride like you just hadn't heard it. It was such a part of the album.
Yeah,
agreed.
You spoken that more, Ray. That song, My Life, how they flipped the old My Life. Listen, that song is perfection, dog.
Yeah, that shit was fire. And he's talented too, man. The more he's talented, bro.
I like his project.
Now listen, this is gonna be tough for you. We got to talk lowlights. Was there something on the album that didn't work? Can you take your biased J. Cole cape off for 2 minutes, Mxtra, and say something that didn't work?
Yeah, I mean, I can. It would be that it clocked in a little under 40 minutes. So again, like you referenced earlier, it's over, and then you're like, damn, it's over already. I feel like he could have gave at least 45 minutes. You know. So I mean, for me, that's the low light is a little short. And the only thing else I would say, this is something I want to get into the psyche of how they pick the features, because I feel like when you're at Cole's position, if you're going to do a feature, I feel like you got to put some of your people on. You know what I'm saying? Although he's done that, but I would have loved to hear a Jid record a Jid feature on this. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Jid is next up, like he says. Why not put Jid on the biggest stage? You know what I'm saying?
Bro, he's not next up. I'm sorry to break it to you, bro.
And next up for Dreamville.
No, he's not.
No lie.
Boz is clearly up next.
No, but Boz already has his.
But I'm saying he finna be the next nigga after these.
Oh no, Boz is definitely next. But I'm saying Jid is right there. Like Jid has been murdered. Like,
bro,
he's been murdered.
That no lie. I'm gonna go to my lowlights because I had the same thing. I could have used a standout verse from a Dreamville artist, bro.
Yeah.
That would have been. I'm talking about a joint where you go, man, I'm ready for that nigga album. Like Boz is cool on the harmonizer, but that's not gonna make me go, I can't wait to listen to his project though. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, I didn't know he had that in his bag.
Exactly.
And he complimented the songs well. Okay, cool. But the same way that Jay-Z had J. Cole on Blueprint 3,
exactly,
and he stole the show on that, he should have had a Dreamville artist, best case scenario, who's got a project on the way.
Exactly.
He should have had them on one of these songs to just body bag it and be like, damn, I never really paid attention, but God, that Cos nigga, he snapped on this motherfucker. Yeah. This would have been the perfect opportunity to do that.
I don't think Dreamville has that artist. Sorry, break it to you guys.
They have niggas that can rap.
Yes, they can.
Not if I'm J. Cole that I'm putting on an album that I think is this good. Y'all niggas just rapping on Dreamville. Like the whole Revenge of the Dreamers, man. Y'all niggas don't know.
What are you talking about?
Y'all asses down.
They got some rappers. They got some rappers.
If you can put 21 Savage on the album, you can put Jid on that.
I agree.
I don't agree with that at all. My low lights is the looming threat of J. Cole retiring. Like you hear a nigga this well that does this good. It irritates me when I get done listening to it in 39 minutes, sort of like you said, because this nigga consistently is threatening retirement. Even on the Kevin Durant podcast I listened to him in, he's talking about maybe 2 more albums. And I just think that bothers me so much because he's so good at what he does. It's like Jordan going away to play baseball. Like, bro, you got 6 more years and you got 6 more good albums. And I think I'm mad that Jay-Z even Master P made that shit popular. This is my last album, I'm retiring, and then you teeter around for a couple more years. I just wish that niggas of this generation, J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick, learn to lean into it. Like, lean into it. Nigga, I'm going to be rapping until I'm 50 because I'm that damn good at this shit. And y'all niggas ain't going to be better than me now. Y'all ain't going to be better than me at 50. I wish that was the approach that most A-list rappers had as opposed to, oh, man, this might be my last album. That was the thing that kept registering in my head as I listened to the album again and again. And this nigga talking about quitting in 2 albums? Get the fuck out of here. So that was what my worst takeaway from it.
I did have 2 questions, though, on things that could be perceived as lowlights. He took slights previously for his production. Do you think he stepped his production game up on him?
Yes. I think that it equaled the – previously, people were looking at J. Cole as a big A-list. I want hits, maybe a club song. Now that he's deaded that you're not about to get this from me, nigga, you finna get these bars, these dope stories, these cold songs. People's ears have adjusted to what that is, and I don't think the production is under such high scrutiny anymore. But I do think that he did a great job with it fitting where he is at in his career.
Mm. So the beats work for you, Twin? But they probably you're going to say they always work.
No. I mean, no. If one knock anyone would have on J. Cole, it would be on the production side. I've had this conversation with countless J. Cole haters, but I mean, the production is definitely high quality. It's like you can tell. I mean, it's different. I mean, he started it when he did the song with Thug with T Minus, Middle Child with T Minus. So he started that and it's worked. I mean, and one thing about him, he likes to collab with producers, obviously. So I think that is a better role out as far as production goes for him to stay in, because most people want to hear other producers. That's just what it is. You don't want to hear the same sound over and over.
And I agree with that. I was talking to Jay earlier. He said the production, he said to him it still was a little subpar. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, I don't know. Like, listen, nobody ever said J. Cole needed the best beats of all time. He doesn't need that.
Subpar was a slap in the face. He should be ashamed.
Yeah, I don't agree. The beats are fine to me. They're not a distraction. Let me say that. The beats are not a distraction, and I thought they had layers to them. They did enough for me to where I didn't notice. Well, now that he said that, I'm gonna listen and pay more attention to the production. But to me, it was fine. My other possible low light: are y'all here for auto-tune Cole? Because he pulled the auto-tune out on about 2 or 3 joints.
I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't like, what the fuck is he doing?
It wasn't really noticeable like that.
Yeah.
I was at Amari and
that record slides.
100 mil. 100 mil, that motherfucker go. But it's auto-tuned though. Let's be clear.
I mean, it just wasn't like so like clear. Like, oh my God, you auto-tune. Yeah, you can't really. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. And 100 mil probably one of my favorite songs on here too. So I can't even. I try to act like I gave a shit about the auto-tune on there. I really don't. This shit's fire. Lou, give me a rating, man. Out of 5 reels, what you give it?
4.5. 4.5 reels. Absolutely superb album. J. Cole put his best foot forward. I don't think that it's better than 2014 Forest Hills Drive, which for me is Cole's best album. So that's why I gave it 4.5 instead of 5. I feel like that's a classic 5 mic album, 2014. But this is right there on the doorstep.
All right, Twin, what you got? What you think?
It's like 4.7 or 8 to me. It's so good, man. It's really good. The slight is it's a little short for me. But it's so good, man. Like you said, you just keep playing it. You just keep playing it. And there's nothing's like, oh my God, let me turn this off. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. It's knocking. It's definitely knocking.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. We gotta make it a sweep. It's 4.5. It's superb, bro. Like there's not holes on it. There's no holes. There's no holes on the album, dude. Like
no filler.
Like this nigga sounds like a professional rapper. This
like
is what a fucking A-list rapper should sound like. This is what the album should sound like, dude.
It's like a fucking Maryland crab cake, man. No fucking filler. It's just all. It's just no filler.
Real quick before we get to these wins and losses, y'all want to know what Pitchfork rated it?
This year,
I think I just
6.5 out of 10.
What were they? What were the critiques?
Did they get Zach from marketing to do this food?
Made me drop my microphone.
Pitchfork. See, this is why I hate. This is what makes me upset. And P from
QC.
From QC spoke on this too. This is what happens when people don't understand the culture get to rate things.
Don't understand what?
When people who aren't from the culture get to rate things.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? 6 out of 10. Get out of here, bro. No black person is saying that.
I like it better than KOD too, which was his last project. I think it's better than KOD for anybody.
Yeah, it's better than KOD.
Yeah. I agree with that.
He said on that Kevin Durant podcast, he did KOD in 2 weeks. He said he had been taking a break from music, and he just had to create. He said he just couldn't get anything that he liked going.
Yeah.
And he went in the studio after taking like 6 months off, and he got 3 songs. And finished the rest of them in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Got a dragon in the background, don't
what
you?
the fuck was that? All right, man. Get to these wins and losses, man. What we got, dude?
All right, the wins and the losses, man. First W goes to my guy, Jaden Smith, man. He has a brand new restaurant that's going to offer free meals to the homeless, man. What do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, that's super dope, man. It's a vegan spot. It's called I Love You. All right. Shout out to the youngsters, though, man. It's super dope. Now, if you go there to eat, it will cost you a little more. Your check is probably going to round up to like the nearest dollar, and that's how they're able to afford to pay for the homeless food. But I'm not mad at that, man. It's going to do well, bro. People are going to go just off of the charity aspect. That's a super dope concept. And
great idea.
People could do that to pay their employees more, too, if they raise minimum wage. But that's a whole nother story. Go ahead, Twin. What you think?
Shout out to Will and Jay.
This is a great thing. You got to love. This is wonderful, man. This is what it's about. Man. Putting yourself in a position to help others, and really just not talking about it, but being about it. So this is definitely what it's about.
He gets it.
Yeah, he gets it. And I'm sorry, I want to clarify something I said in my last segment. The writer from Pitchfork is a black writer. He's getting killed on Twitter for his rating. His name is Alfonso. Alfonso Pierre. He's getting murdered on Twitter for his rating. He has a Cardi B invasion of privacy rated higher, and people are killing him.
Oh my God! Here we go.
Next,
and shout out to Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, man. They've raised commendable kids.
It's commendable.
That shit is amazing. How grounded their kids are. Another W to my man Sauce Walker. His mom is launching a credit card for artists to use their royalties to get their royalties early if they're in a bind. What do you guys think about that? Shout out to Texas being innovative, man.
I fuck with the bind.
Well, no, it's not
necessarily. If you want access to your royalties early, you're gonna have a little credit card that you can use and charge against them.
I don't think it's a good idea.
I think it's smart. I think it's smart to give options. There's paycheck situations like this right now for people that need a paycheck early. It's gonna cost you an extra 5% or something.
Yeah, it's definitely smart, but I'm talking about for the consumer. It's not good.
Yeah, hey man, some people
financially a good idea.
Some people need it. I wouldn't advise it, but it's cool to have options. You get your royalties instantly off of streaming sites instead of having to wait 30, 45 days, man. I ain't mad at it. I think it's genius, honestly.
Yeah, the idea is genius, but I'm just saying for the purpose, if I was an artist, I wouldn't go near it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Sauce Walker's mom. But that's another story.
That's an interesting guy right there.
L to Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow's DJ was indicted for a club shooting where someone was murdered not too long ago.
Yeah, he's claiming self-defense.
His DJ?
Yeah, he said what?
You said he's Jack Harlow's DJ is claiming self-defense?
He's claiming self-defense, dude. He is trying to get his bond lowered to $500,000, but his judge ain't going. Man, that shit crazy.
What is it right now, $1 million?
Oh, it didn't say. It just said he was asking to get it. Oh no, excuse me. It is 500,000. He was trying to get it lower than that. Sorry about that.
Jack Harlow got the 10% for that.
Jack Harlow ain't got $50,000 to get a nigga out of jail.
$50,000.
I promise you, he don't. I ain't counting no nigga pockets and nothing. But Jack Harlow can't go down to the courthouse and get the Rex. That ain't happening.
They said he's trying to get it lower to 50,000.
Then he dropped 5. He got 5. He ain't got 50.
Okay.
50 is what you pay on a $500,000.
Right.
Yeah, he ain't got. Jack Harlow got $5,000. He couldn't.
He does, definitely, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. The last bonus L, we usually do 3. This is the 4th one. Your guy 50 Cent, his not new show, but his show For Life, the one on ABC with the ugly black dude, it's been canceled. What do you guys think about that?
It had so much promise. It started off great, to be honest, and then it took a turn. They started involving COVID and stuff. I was like, right, what? It's ridiculous. Like it took a turn for the worse, like most of his shows.
Yeah, 2 grand opening, grand closing, 2 seasons is that's quick. They pulled the plug on that fast though. That's kind of some slaw, but that's finding more time to get on this BMF though, man. What we waiting on, fam?
Thing about TV, you get a chance to miss in TV more so than music. Like you're gonna have canceled TV shows. Some of the best producers out there have had canceled TV shows the last 1 or 2 seasons. So I don't think this is a big deal for 50.
It ain't.
Who you guys got for On Deck? Who you got for On Deck of the week?
Well, first, well wishes to Lil Reese out of Chicago. He was involved in another shooting, in which 3 people were shot. Very, very crazy situation. Apparently, he was trying to buy weed from somebody. The person was in a stolen truck. And then there was a shootout that ensued. Yeah, it's wild. Wild story.
Chicago is a wild.
Weed is legal in Chicago, ain't
it? He told the police that he was trying to buy weed from somebody.
You can go.
And the shootout ensued. Who knows? But he got grazed in the eye. And there's video, of course, of somebody filming the aftermath. And he actually was beat up a little bit in the face. So it looked like he had gotten into a fight and then got shot. Who knows? It's the second time in like 2 years he's been shot, though, man. He got shot real bad in his neck. Had to get surgery and stuff last time. But yeah, Chicago, he gonna need to move. That's the moral of the story. He needs to move.
They were saying he can't move because he's on probation.
Oh, they want him. They want him to die then.
Yeah, they want Reese out of there.
Yeah, because he definitely should have
moved to LA.
Definitely should have been gone.
It should have been Dirk.
Atlanta, somewhere, Houston. Like, well, everybody else moved.
Yes.
Atlanta's violence is cranked up really bad.
That is true.
Atlanta has been on the rise. They violence is definitely. They talk about it every night.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. People got shot outside of the Trap Music Museum over the weekend.
Somebody got shot in Atlantic Station this weekend.
At Home Depot parking lot, people got shot off Lindbergh.
Damn.
That's why
hot summer. Boy, COVID over with. It's gonna be a hot summer.
Yeah.
My prayers go out to you young niggas out there in these streets, man.
Real quick, man. On Deck of the Week, we are going to Facebook. Shout out to hold on, my guy. I forgot the name. Hey, don't kill me because he has been in the rap chat forever, man, putting out good questions. Keyshawn Brown, my guy. He said 10 tracks of a whole project produced by Alchemist would be awesome. My question, do we need that? Do we need 10 tracks with Hove and Alchemist?
Tomorrow. Please.
That would be incredible.
Yesterday, actually.
Yes, please. And thank you.
Shout out to Keyshawn Brown, man. Super dope concept. Hey, maybe Hove is
listening, man.
Give me a put on, Lou, before we get out of here.
Man, there's some great podcast content out there other than this one. I'm glad you checked this one out. But if you're looking for something else, you guys are going to kill me for this because I brought it to the group chat early Saturday morning because it was that good. Michael Rappaport and Van Lathan on Higher Learning. When listen to me, Van Lathan read that nigga like he was supposed to be read. Man, I'm a much bigger Van Lathan fan than I already was. He kept it 1,000 on there with Michael Rappaport, and Michael Rappaport was so shocked. But
what was the name of it? What's the name
Higher Learning podcast with Van Lathan and I can't think of her name.
So Michael Rappaport was a guest.
Michael Rappaport was a guest, and cool. Rachel Lindsay is Van.
Oh, Rachel, the girl from The Bachelorette.
Yeah, she's his co-host. She not too long ago, I think 2 episodes ago, she got into a heated discussion with DJ Academics and how he exploits people on his page, and she went at him. So they've been having some feisty conversations over on Higher Learning, man. Y'all might want to check that out.
I might check it out. Academics is
what you got in Mxtra? Put me on some.
For me, it's gonna be the new Georgia Smith album, Be Right Back, for all my R&B heads. I think it's a smooth, mellow groove for you and your lady. Play that, you know what I'm saying? You might have some fun. Good vibe.
Georgia Smith. All right, I'm putting y'all on the album too. It's a sleeper that dropped a week or two ago, kind of went under the radar. But I like T Grizzly new project, bro. Like, check that out. High energy joints on there. I fuck with T Grizzly. I'm a closet T Grizzly fan though, real slick.
As you speak from the closet.
But the project is good, man. It's called Built for Whatever. Y'all make sure y'all check that out, man. Late night calls, quit trapping. Like, it's some hard joints on there for real. And dude be saying something. You know, we talked about that with Pooh Shiesty. You said Pooh Shiesty be saying a little more than you may think on the surface level. I feel like that about T Grizzly, man. So y'all check that project out. It's solid.
His last album was good.
Yeah,
the back of the classroom or front of the classroom or something
like that. Yeah,
T Grizzly definitely talented. I don't get it twisted.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, man, appreciate you sliding through to talk this Cole album. You got a review out there in these internet streets, don't you?
Yeah, I got a review, the Fall Off. You guys can check it out on IG, Facebook, and the Twitter. That's Mxtra3 on all things social. And also be on the lookout for the Cashmere and Cognac podcast dropping this summer with me and the boy S Wash. Y'all guys will be on the lookout for it. This is a lifestyle podcast with the backdrop to R&B and hip hop, of course.
Is S Wash the stage name? I like that. That's luxurious, right there.
That boy Sean Washington. Yeah, that boy S Wash. That's what we
S
call it,
Wash.
S.Wash.
Sound like a new fragrance.
S.Wash.
S-Wash, nigga.
So you check it out, Cashmere and Cognac, something smooth coming to you soon.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate y'all guys checking out the episode, man. You know what time it is. YouTube.com/OndeckTV podcast. YouTube.com/Realville. Support the Realvillemedia.com. And go to Patreon, man. We got some super dope things cooking up. New album reviews, new movie reviews. We got FSP content. Just hit the link in the description or go to patreon.com/Realville, man. Take you straight there.
Big facts.
Anything else before we get out of here?
Nope, we out.
Yeah.